Good morning. Hey, hey. Um, so, just wanted to share a little bit before I read this morning. Um, as I look around me and I see some of my fellows, some of the people that I know well in recovery, experiencing challenges, experiencing what would seem to be um, what would seem to be tough times, I recognize that in my life, my own experience is that some of the biggest and hardest things that happened brought awakening, brought clearly brought a new phase, an awakening, and there's a there's it's a complete change of context when we see that the possibility that our purpose in life could be to grow from the idea that we are our thoughts, that we are our body, to the awareness, the recognition that we are consciousness, that we are one with consciousness, that we are in consciousness. And for some of us, it's, for me, for years, even though I was searching for something, I didn't realize. I just didn't realize it because I so believed that I was my circumstance. I was my story. I was my, yeah, I believed that. I thought, well, gosh, I saw myself, this, as me. and, and I suppose on one level, it's acceptable. There I was, David. Actually, I was Keith for years and years, 40. That was my middle name. David's my first name, and that and the my, everything that I say my is possessiveness, is attachment, and so to surrender that for me had to come with surrendering lots of things to realize that when those things were gone, this was still there. This consciousness was still there when friends were gone, right? Friends come and go, right? When family has left, because family passes, when jobs and business, when seeming wealth came and left, all of those things are realities in this dimension, because this dimension is moving and passing. There's nothing here to be attached to. And so when shit happens, when what we think is tragedy, or we think is huge obstacles, they're there for us. Imagine that your house burns down and you seemingly have lost everything. Huge growth can come. Amazing awareness can come that, oh, those things were not me. They were not me. I think in this moment of all the folks on the West Coast, tragedy, it's hard. It's hard. But amazing growth will come. An inner strength, a connection to the oneness. Those folks, will awaken. And California does that. They will awaken and say, wow, look at that. That's just stuff. It's not me. These are circumstances. They're not me. And so if you're going through it, if you're in it, If your husband's just left, great. Feel it. Just feel it. It's passing. But sometimes we get so serious. We're like, oh, and we try to kill ourselves. We try to, because we think we are that. We think we are our circumstance. We think we are our possessions. We think we are our experiences, and we're not. We're just not. So that's the message for today, just to surrender. Now let's imagine, because we talk about principles, if something works in a small way, it'll work in a big way, right? And when we look back, just for a minute, all of us have had to say goodbye to something that we didn't want to say goodbye to, that we resisted, whether it was a relationship, right? Whether it was a pet, a dog dies, whether it was our wife leaving. We've all done this in one way or another, and whether a parent passed, and we've all survived that. We've all awakened the next morning and said, wow, now that is a memory. That's not, doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. The relationship is gone. Whatever it is, and we got through it. We awakened the next morning, and here we were still here. It was still us alive in this moment. So use that principle. No matter what's happening, it's an opportunity for us. And then eventually nothing, doesn't matter what it is, can shake us. It can't shake us. I see people in resistance, to change, and oh my gosh, this can't happen. The government's doing this, or or whatever. It's just we're in resistance, and recognize that nothing can hurt our essence. Nothing can challenge. And when we're in our essence, when we're in our consciousness, we are an unbelievable power. We're tapped into love, not fear. And fear is, where the struggle is, right? Fear, non-acceptance, resistance. It's all in fear. So there you go. This too shall pass. All things pass, except consciousness. You are that consciousness. And just becoming aware of that you are that is the beauty. It's here we go. I am that, the isness, the oneness. Okay, and then watch the mind, because the mind is what wants to separate us. Just watch the thoughts, fear, resistance, right? Guilt, shame, judgment. Just watch them, let them go. Watch them and let them go. Watch them and let them go. And we can. We can just let them go, not by turning to something else, like to like a diversion, like say drugs, alcohol, whatever, food. Just be conscious and let them go. When the resistance comes up, whatever the thoughts are, be here now. Everything that ever is, will be, or has been, is now. So be here now, and this is the practice. In the now, nothing is changing. Everything is perfect. Nothing is missing. Okay? And that's it. Okay. So I'm going to read from the daily book here. As many of you know, have been in recovery from alcoholism for many years, and thank God for that. Because out of the 12 steps came, is such a gift. All that I'm speaking of is in that 12 steps. It's all there. And hi, Brent. So, the awakening, the realization that we are not our thoughts, that we are not our body, that we are not our circumstance, that those are all passing, and that we are beyond that. We are the one. And it came out of my, the teachings in the 12 steps. In essence, it's in there as well. beautifully. There's there's an awakening that happens in those steps. So every day I read from a little book called the 24-Hour Day Book. It's beautiful, a beautiful little book. And the book it was written in 1954, the early days of the 12-step world. And yeah. So I share this, and lots of people who come to watch, my videos are at different stages of their awakening. But it really doesn't matter where you are. Principles of being here now, of being present, of awareness of the one is the same for all of us. It isn't, it's a universal. AA, it says, will lose some of its effectiveness if I do not do my share. So in his writing, he's encouraging us to do our part, to be part of it. Where am I failing, he says? Are there some things I do not feel like doing? When I came into the 12-step world, we were still emptying ashtrays. We were, and smoked in the rooms. It was crazy, and so I emptied a lot of ashtrays. Are there some things I do not feel like doing? I didn't like doing ashtrays. Am I held back by self-consciousness or fear? Self-consciousness is a form of pride. Wow. So again, awareness, self-consciousness is a form of pride. It is a fear that something may happen to us. What happens to us is not very important. There he is. He's got it. The impression you make on others does not depend on so much on the kind of job you do as on your sincerity and honesty of purpose. And the question, he always has a question with his thought for the day. Am I holding back because I'm afraid of not making a good impression? Sure, we're self-conscious. I get it, Meditation for the day. Meditation for the day. Look to God for the true power that will make you effective. So in my interpretation, hey James, in my discussion about God, God is universal, God is essence, God is consciousness, God is now. So the trouble where many of us have gotten hooked up is or misled in a way is that we see God as a separate being. We see God as something that we have to appease, or something that we have to earn the right to be in the presence of. We are in the presence at all times. Selfrealization helps us to become aware of that. It's like, oh my gosh, right? We are in the presence at all times. God is, like Bill Wilson said, he's either everything or he's nothing. And so when I speak of God, I for me, my interpretation is all-encompassing in everything, in all things. Hello, Emily, Christine, Dylan. Nice to see you. Love you. Hi, girl. So just we're well into the story today, and 24-Hour Day Book. Just read the thought for the day. Now I'm reading the meditation for the day. I'll start a meditation again. Hi, honey. It says, look to God for the true power that will make you effective. So look to the moment. Be here now. Seek no other wholly dependable supply of power. Seek no other wholly dependable supply of strength, it says, because there is no other supply of strength. That is the secret of a truly effective life. And you, in your turn, will be used to help many others find effectiveness, or, the absolute power in the moment. Whatever spiritual help you need, whatever spiritual help you desire for others, look to God. Seek that God's will be done in your life, and seek that your will conform to His. Let me try that again. Whatever spiritual help you need, whatever spiritual help you desire for others, look to God. Seek that God's will be done in your life, and seek that your will conform to His. That's beautiful. Failures come from depending too much on your own strength. Yes, doing it my way. I'm going to do it my way. Okay, prayer for the day. I pray that I may feel that nothing good is too much for me if I look to God for help. I pray that I may be effective through his guidance. So, I mean, the advice that I give to lots of guys that are, because I'm dealing with tons and tons of newcomers these days, is pray. Just pray your ass off, and thy will be done, thy will be done. And, God, grant me strength as I go from here to do your bidding. Just keep the prayer going. Because lots of times I'm working with fellows that are right on the edge and full of fear. So, a prayer to have our fear removed. Take away my fear. Take away my fear. Show me what you have me to be. Those prayers are real, and they help to lift the veil. It's funny, we're caught in this world and we can't see that we are one with it. And when we see it, it's like, oh my God. Just like that. And we realize that we're not separate. Only our thinking has kept us separate. Because our thinking, our mind is always judging and complaining and fearful. It comes from fear. And Bill nailed it. Bill Wilson nailed it on, I think it's page 62, when he said selfishness and self-centeredness, that's the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, and self-seeking, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. So, that's the nature from the mind, is selfishness and self-centeredness. And it's so hard to see because, we're convinced that the problem is outside, and if only the world would behave, if only people would do what I wanted. Right? So just surrender that. And as we let that go, we come into our realization of who we are, or a realization of God in this moment. It's beautiful. Okay. So love you guys lots. I want to remind you to subscribe on YouTube. I'm going to tag this video with this video from YouTube, and love it if you'd subscribe there. And next Tuesday, I think it is, next Tuesday we're going to start to read the Bhagavad Gita. Where is that book? Oh, there it is. So we're going to keep doing this, the 24-hour day book, but we're going to do, thanks James, I love you, man. We're going to do the Bhagavad Gita next week. So it's a beautiful book. It really is. And it's a conversation between, it's a metaphor, it's a story, it's a Hindu mythology, but it's beautiful, and we're going to do a reading from this, and great, it'll, it's amazing, it's amazing, it's very high vibration, and so we'll give it a shot. Next Tuesday we start to read the Bhagavad Gita at 11 o'clock. We're going to do it later in the day, for however long it takes to go through. Okay, love you guys lots. Thanks for tuning in, and see you tomorrow. What day is it? Thursday. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.